Hi everyone, welcome, or welcome back if this is not your first time here, but I am super excited to bring you this newest video showing you this makeup look today that I did, creating my own version of the GLAMLITE new Cookies and Cream palette. Go ahead and stay tuned for that. First off, I would love it if you would love to give me a subscribe. I am hoping to create a lot more content like this on this channel. I find it actually exciting, it's less wasteful, and it just also gives me an opportunity to use more of my makeup collection, which I absolutely love. So yes, definitely subscribe if you would like to see more of that footage. Do give me a like if you did like this, and I would also love it a comment down below if you did enjoy this, or just, you know, tell me about your day. But anyways, let's roll on into the footage. So first up, hopefully I can figure out how to do timestamps. I've never done it before, but it doesn't seem like it's like hard, but we're gonna see. But, because I think I'm just gonna show you first my choices, like where I got the shades from each palette, just so you kind of can know. I will have all the palettes linked down below. Some of them are discontinued palettes, but I do believe still you can probably find them on eBay or, you know, whatever. I know at least one of mine I found at TJ Maxx, so yeah. Anyways, okay, let's get on started. So as I'm hoping that this will work out, is I'm probably gonna have a picture on the left. That is the original palette, or the palette that I'm trying to dupe. It should just be swatches, is kind of how I was able to match, I feel, the best to what I was seeing. And then on the right hand side will be like my dupe, or the palette basically that it came from, with the dupe located for you. So starting off, so shade number 1 to me with the swatches does look like just a soft kind of shimmery white shade. Something to note before I continue on is that I am a colorblind person, like kind of certain shades. Most shades I feel like I see pretty well, but certain shades, like lighter shades or whatever, I do struggle with. So, for example, this shade to me in the swatch does look kind of like a pearl whitish shade, but in the actual pan of the palette looks a bit more peachy to me. But I'm just trying my best to base off of swatches. I did go off a little, you know, kilter just to make it easy for myself, slash to also match shades that I currently have in my collection. But I still do think, you know, everything kind of resoundingly comes together. So back to what I was saying. So shade number 1, which is that it looks like a shimmery white kind of pearl shade. My dupe is going to be from September Rose Cosmetics, their Still Pretty palette in the shade White Lotus. And then for the next shade, just looks like your run-of-the-mill kind of a tan shade. I think some people might call this a camel. So there's a lot of different shades that I could have picked for this one. I was very challenging. I ended up just settling from actually GLAMLITE, their Chocolate Martini palette, the shade Bittersweet. It does look to me pretty similar. I still do think maybe mine is like a little bit more cooler tone, but honestly, it was the best that I could find. So jumping ahead to shade number 3. So this, unfortunately, is from a discontinued palette, which I do think I mentioned, you know, at some point throughout this video. But from the Urban Decay Moondust palette, I do know that you can still find it places online. I know I have seen it at TJ Maxx. That is actually where I did pick mine up about a year ago, I think. But I still do think they are floating around. It is actually quite a nice palette if you are in the market for an all shimmer palette with some really good high quality shades. Let me stop getting off topic. I do believe, sorry, real fast, I do believe that they also sell these as singles. Don't quote me, but I do think they have a range. I don't know if it's these specific shades. But so jumping in for me, so into the picture that I see almost this brownish with some shimmer through it, a little bit of silver or whatever. It's quite a unique shade, and when I was looking at the Moondust palette, the shade that popped out to me was the shade Lithium, which to me is this more brown toned shimmer. I did as well pull from this palette a lot because it has those glittery shimmery shades that I feel like GLAMLITE does in their formula. So I feel like it worked out really well. Okay, so jumping ahead to our next shade. So I did, from another one of the GLAMLITE palettes, the Kisses palettes, I did pull from the Milk Chocolate palette just a super dark brown. If I didn't say, the next shade in the arm swatches is a dark brown. The one that I picked is probably a bit darker than the one pictured, but I do really like to have some nice deepening shades, so I did pull from this one. I as well was very inspired by the fact that this is a Hershey's collection. They already had a Hershey's collection with the Kisses. I was like, you know, let me pull from those palettes majority and then fill in with other things that I needed. So, next up, I do have for shade number 5, so it looks like a shimmery whitish blue shade. So I am pulling from, and you will see in the swatch, or not swatch, but like from the little palette. I don't know why this shade looks so dark in the palette they have, but it is, I promise you, a lot lighter. You will see in like the tutorial part of the video, I feel like it looks a lot lighter. But it is from Sugarpill X Little Twin Stars. This is a discontinued collection like on Sugarpill's end, but I do still see it available on Beautylish. I know you can get it, you know, different places. I think I got mine on Depop, actually from the creator of Sugarpill a while ago when they were selling some of their makeup. So anyway, sorry. So Sugarpill X Little Twin Star shade Cloud Baker. Jumping on down to the 6th shade, which looks to me to be like a shimmery dark blue, kind of navy blue. I went back into that Urban Decay Moondust palette and pulled for the shade Galaxy, which is this bluish shade with some gray, which I really like and I think definitely fits the color scheme of this palette. Moving on, next is going to be just a basic gray shade, a bit deeper. I honestly don't really have a lot of gray shades, so I did go ahead and just pull from the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Blends palette, shade Intuition. I feel like it's just a really nice quality gray shade that works really well with this palette. Moving on down for our next shade, which looks to me to be just a shimmery gray, lots of sparkle, very pretty. So I did once again pull from Urban Decay Moondust palette in the shade Lithium. I think this shade works super well. So jumping into another palette jumping into the next shade, which looks to be a mid-toned blue. I don't know quite, my brain wants to say periwinkle, but I don't think that's correct. So let's just say a mid-toned blue. So I did pull from the Glamlite Kisses that 610 palette, Cookies N Creme shade number 2. I do think that that is a really good match for this one. Moving on next into a deep navy blue, I did once again pull from the Glamlite Kisses Cookies N Creme palette, that deepest blue, shade number 6. Next up, this one looks to me to be a shimmery blue with a little bit of that gray, but not as deep as the other one before the gray. I can't remember what that one is. I do apologize, but it was from the Moondust palette. But in this case, I did pull from another Glamlite palette. This is the Scooby-Doo, I'm gonna butcher this, the Raggy palette, possibly is what it's called. Shade number 1. And then just rolling in with our last eyeshadow, it is just a matte black. So I just pulled from the Glamlite Kisses Milk Chocolate with Almonds palette, shade number 6. So starting out, I do just have a thin layer of the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation just all over my skin. And then I did just fill in my eyebrows with oh my god, she's crumbling, with a black eyeshadow. Let's get on in with the look. So I'm just going to start by priming the eyes with the Milani eyeshadow primer. It doesn't even just set a little bit. Then I'm just taking just kind of a fluffy brush to apply that eyeshadow primer. I'm going to be applying along the eyelid and a little bit underneath as well. So just taking a big fluffy brush, I'm going to dip into the tan shade, and I'm going to start just lightly taking that in the crease just to build up the shape that I'm looking for. I had to repress my shade, so you might notice mine's like super pigmented because I kind of just had to do it like manually. I don't have like a machine to do it, so. Alright, zoomed this in quite a bit more, just hopefully you're able to see a little bit better what I'm doing. I'm just taking another big fluffy brush, just a clean brush, and I'm just going to soften out the edges. Okay, next I'm just gonna go in with that lightish, I think it's supposed to be like a peachy color. Like when I reflect back on the palette, I ended up picking a white kind of shimmer shade. I'm just gonna pick that up on a medium fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna blend that into my brow bone. Taking the same brush, I'm just gonna start blending that into that tan shade. I can already tell I think I'm gonna go in with a bit more of the tan. Going in a bit more with that tan shade to re-emphasize the definition. I think I might actually take the same brush and just buff that into that shimmer, so it has a nice smooth transition. So next I'm just going to go in with one of these brushes that I just call an extra small blending brush. I'm going to dip into the black eyeshadow. I'm going to start adding a little bit along outer edge. I think what I actually did, so let me follow what I did the previous time, is I actually took a pencil brush and some of that black, and I started only that bottom third, just where the outside of that color is. Basically just following the curvature of the eye. Going back in with that extra small blending brush. Just gonna follow curvature in. I'm not taking it like really high. I'm just kind of following just about to that like edge of the colored part. I'm just gonna take my time doing tapping motions, whatever helps, just to start to build that color up. Doing a little bit of swiping back and forth motions just to help with the start to soften. I'm also doing the same kind of like stamping along the edge of that black just so it softens out. So next I'm just gonna go in with a small blending brush, dipping into the gray shade, the matte gray shade I should say, and I'm gonna start softening even more that black. I'm also just taking that same gray shade with the same brush and just bringing it in a little bit. So it is now time for the shimmers, so I'm just going to dip into the NYX Glitter Primer. And then I am just taking a flat shader brush, and I'm just going to apply that all over my eyelids. I like to follow kind of where my bone structure naturally goes up a little bit. And then as we get to this like blackish area, I'm just like tapping it. I don't honestly know if it does anything, but it makes me feel good. Just wiping off my flat brush, I'm just gonna go into that. So their shade looks to me like a white blue shimmer. So I'm just taking my version and I'm gonna start applying that to the inner corner and about a third of the way in. So next I'm just gonna go in with the mid-tone shimmery blue and apply that to the almost center, not quite, overlapping just slightly the shade to help them start to blend together. I might have to go back. It looks like a little bit of back and forth to get these to blend. The next going in with that darkest shimmer blue, applying that on the outer edge. I just have a small blending brush cleaned off. I'm not adding any extra product. I'm just gonna see if I can kind of blend them together like you would do matte shadows. I think it's working. I think I might take a little bit more of that really sparkly. I almost wish this like lightish blue in the center or in the front part was a sparkly, but it's fine. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that mid-tone blue just to like sweep. I don't even know if that's gonna do anything, but just like add a little bit more sparkle. That looks nice. So I'm gonna go back in with that original clean blending brush just to go around everything and help it to soften. Okay, so just looking at the makeup, I can just see that I want to kind of re-emphasize just a couple things real quick. So I'm gonna do that. All I think I'm gonna do is re-add, mainly on this side, a little bit more of the shimmery, like blue shade. and then probably add a bit more of the black to the outer edges just to deepen, and then we can move on to the lower lash line. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm gonna try my best to sweep away any of the fallout because I have makeup on. Normally, yeah, it's kind of messy now. Normally, I would not have this half of my base done, and I would just remove it with, like, some micellar water. But, you know, I wanted to look good for the video, so, we're coming on with a full face. Next time, I probably won't do that. I think it'll be okay. Where's my sponge? Whatever. It is what it is at this point. I'm just gonna dip into that, like, tan shade and start lining just the under part of my eye. And then as the color starts to overlap with the black, I'm just blending it in, but not, like, crazy. Okay, so next, totally random, my eyes are feeling a bit watery, so I'm a little nervous. I don't know if anybody else has this, but I feel like if I get to, like, near the inner parts of my eyes will just start to water, or I'll just have creasage or whatever, but I'm still going to show you what I did last time I did the makeup. You know, hang on. I have, like, a fan off to the side because it's, like, summer and it's hot, but I'm noticing, like, any bit of irritation makes my eyes want to water. Okay. So I'm just taking a, like, fluffy, flat brush, a small one, dipping into that lighter blue shade, and, sorry, I'm gonna block you, and I'm just going to apply that to that lower lash line, inner corner part of the eye. I might, like, stamp over it to help it blend in with that, like, tan shade. So I want to increase this, like, under eye a little bit more, like the shading or whatever. So I'm going to dip in with that small shading brush and the tan shade just to soften it out a bit and help it to blend in better with that light blue in the inner corner shade. I think I'm just going to do the same, like, with whatever's left over. Just running it along that black, just to help that to soften out. I think I'm going to go in a little bit with the gray as well. Okay, so let's move on to eyeliner. So I'm actually pulling out this super old, I believe it's from L'Oreal. It's probably, like, messing up a bit, but I'm trying it. It's an infallible cobalt blue, wow, pencil. It's actually, like, a super nice shade. I don't know. I don't know if I felt like the formula did not pick up as much in my eyes as I wanted to. I originally bought this pencil. I'm gonna try and, like, talk and line them at the same time, we'll see. But I'm taking this, sorry, along the upper waterline. I originally bought this pencil because, if anybody remembers, Miss Fame used to do a lot of makeup looks on YouTube, and has since, I mean, they're like a model and all this other stuff, so of course, you know, I'm assuming they don't need to, kind of the same as, like, Glamlite used to do makeup videos as well, and I have not seen anything in a while. So, anyways, the point of this eyeliner, though, I had bought this, I mean, I don't know if I've had this, which is probably bad, I mean, it's probably, like, expired. But it's like a pencil, so you can sharpen it, so it's probably fine. But I've had it for, like, 5 years, maybe? And it was something that they had used to, like, sketch out the shape of their crease or whatever. And I bought it because I was like, oh my god, professional, cool person. I want to be like this person. Needless to say, the pencil is fine. I never really used it for that. And that's not really the makeup that I do as much anymore specifically. But I am still, of course, trying to use up some of my makeup. So that's why we're using this. And it's a decent pencil. I would not say it's my favorite. I really, sorry, I'm, like, off camera. I really want to try the Urban Decay ones again, but as you know, they're very expensive. I think they're like $18, if not more, a pencil, and for me, that's outside my, you know, normal cheap budget. So I am tempted to try some more drugstore ones, but I do also want to try those just to see, like, if they're actually really good. Then I would, you know, over time invest to add them to my collection. But let me stop talking so much. I'm just going to apply this to the bottom waterline, about like a third of the way in that outer corner. One thing I never really liked about this pencil, it doesn't seem to like lay down super easy, but I find that if I kind of rub it against the lashes, it helps it to get like a little bit of color payoff. I go in with my little nub of a NYX white eye pencil. I'm trying so hard to use these pencils up, everybody. But I'm just gonna take this along the rest of that waterline. I'm gonna curl my lashes real quick. Going in with my two current obsessions are the, I'm so scared I'm gonna like butcher this, but it's Prosa Silicone Volume 4-in-1, and then this other one, which is I believe Heroin Make Volume Mascara, super waterproof. I will have it linked down below. Both of these are from Amazon. I like to do a layer of this one just on the upper lashes to help to separate bottom lashes, and then I will go in with this one to help it to like define more. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of concealer real quick just to help with any of like the fallout that I couldn't get off. This is the Camo Concealer by e.l.f., the 16-hour one. I'm like so out of this, but I'm trying to use up whatever a little bit before I buy another concealer. I really do like this one. I just hate the fact that, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like it runs out like very fast, and that's kind of frustrating. I want a concealer that's gonna like at least last me a month. I mean, maybe I feel like concealer should probably last longer than that, but that's how I've been feeling with this concealer. Like, I literally feel like it lasts not very long, and it's a really nice concealer. Well, for the very limited knowledge of concealers that I have. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but I feel like my under eye is still a little bit with the concealer. It's just kind of hard to get it quite up in there. So I am taking, sorry, mine's so dirty, but this is the e.l.f. Camo Foundation powder, and then just kind of a small tapered brush. Literally, is exactly what it's called, a small tapered brush. We love that. And I love to just do this if I feel like it's not super blended or looking how I want it to look. Let me zoom out so we can do blush. The palette to me does not really have any shades that I could use as a blush, or that I want to use as a blush. The one I'm going to be pulling from is this is a really old palette that I've had forever. Definitely pull out from your own collection of things you have. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Paints Blush, whatever, super discontinued. But this shade, oh my god, I'm going to be pulling from is this top shade. I don't know if you'd call this like a rose, more leaning on like terracotta. It's just a super like everyday shade for me, and oh. The orangey shade in the blush palette just started lifting. Cool. Maybe we need to toss this thing earlier than I thought. But anyways, I'm just going to lightly apply that to my cheeks, a little bit in the temples. I feel like I'm like slowly learning more about makeup, like different makeup, you know, like where blush placement stuff goes, so that's really exciting. Okay, so I've not really been feeling like contour, bronzer, whatever. That's not really a normal thing that I do, so I'm just gonna continue skipping it because I don't know. I don't feel like I need it, so, and I don't really want to, but I do like highlighter, so I'm just gonna go in with, so this is just a little highlighter brush, or I think this is a setting brush from Real Techniques, and that shimmery blue shade, that like whitish blue shade from my little palette, and I'm just gonna take this onto the high points of the face. I think I'm gonna do a little on the lip. Okay, so lips today, we're gonna go a bit on the darker side. I did previously wear this with a nude, but I do not currently have any nudes that I would like to promote on the channel, so I'm not going to. And what I mean by that is it's like brands that I don't support. So yeah, I don't really feel like giving any attention to a brand that I do not like. So, let me grab my lipstick real quick. Okay, lipstick of the day is going to be from Sugarpill. I don't know if you can see this. I have no idea why there's like a space there. I tried to shake it and it's not shaking. So, I hope it's still fine. That's one of my favorite shades. It's like a sparkly blue shade. So, we'll apply that. I'm just gonna line my lips with a little black nub that I am trying to use up. I believe it's a CoverGirl. It's like completely gone, so I have no idea. I just realized my lips kind of feel a little gross, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of Beauty Bakery Sugar Lip Scrub just to exfoliate and clean them off real quick. Okay, and I'm just going to allow this to set real quick. I know that this is one of the lipsticks from their line that is supposed to be, like, have bits of glitter in it. I did realize, because I always, like, wait for it to come, and then I feel like I never see it. I was watching recently, Hope Miss Tom did a video where they are, like, showing their entire makeup collection, and they have one of the green ones, which I didn't even know existed, so I will definitely be picking that up if it still exists on the site, I guess, in the future. But they said that all you need to do is, once it dries, if you rub your, like, finger over the color, I can't talk, you rub your finger over the color, then the sparkle will show through. So we're gonna wait for this to dry. We'll come back and I will show you. Alright, so now that it's dried, let's just take our finger and... Alright. I don't know if you can see that. I just used something. Is it anything different from when I noticed, like, I rub my lips together? Not really. Oh, I got all stuck in my teeth. We love that. I don't know. I still, even if it doesn't, like, shine, it is so freaking pretty. But that, I believe, is the end of today's video, playing around with my version of the new GLAMLITE Cookies N Creme palette. I think I have that correct. Let me know down below what you think. Did you like this? Are you going to be doing this yourself? I really do hope to be doing a lot more content like this, so definitely subscribe down below if you would like to see a lot more content like this. I have a large collection, and I want to make more use of it, and yeah, just to, I don't know, just to be excited about makeup. Anyways, I will see you all on my next video. Have a fabulous day, or night, or whatever. Okay, bye!